Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I got myself a box of Hearthkyn Raiders, I think is how you say that. So these guys, I wanted another kill team box to potentially play. I wasn't completely sure. But this box contains, I think, 3 sprues. 1, 2, 3. It comes with, I think it's 10 bases. Pretty sure it's 10 or 9. Or, no, wait, I think it's 7 actually. Comes with a transfer sheet. Transfer sheet that I don't actually end up using. And then comes with an instruction manual. And then this black like package thing that has like little pop-out things for the actual game kill team. But my entire idea for these guys are quite interesting, in my opinion, and I really like it because I didn't grab these guys for how they play in the game or if they're good or not, but I grabbed them for how they look, and you'll see later in the video why. So for the first one, I grabbed the torso, the legs, and start to glue those together, and then snip out the front of the torso, and then also glue this on. These pieces actually went really smoothly together. Some kits that I've built in the past, mainly some of the Tyranid ones, some of the bits are a bit janky when gluing them together, but these guys are really good. Here I decided I wanted to go with a mix of the axe, and also go with the helmet option. I wanted all of these guys to be wearing the helmets, no heads exposed. First of all, I can't paint human heads, and I prefer when characters are wearing masks. And also, another reason that I will explain later more when I get to the painting, because that's when painting actually, no, I get to it at the basing, because the basing is when I kind of show my idea. I also don't know what this thing is, but it was on the model kit and I thought it looked cool. It's like a weird dangly bit that hangs over. I again grabbed the body, the leg, and the torso, and I end up gluing those together. Later, I stopped showing me gluing the torso and the leg and stuff because it gets very repetitive and it's just the same thing over and over and over again, so I don't want to just repeat myself constantly. And then I glued on the backpacks, which I'm actually very curious the lore of these things because I don't really care. Well, I do care, but I haven't researched the lore of these characters yet, and I'm curious if any of you in the comments really know anything about him. And then for this guy, this actually ends up being my favorite guy at the end of this video. Mainly I think because of the big gun. But I grabbed the minigun, or I don't actually know what this weapon is called in Warhammer, but I grabbed that, glued that on, and glued his other arm on, which again, these pieces fit really well together. Some of the other kits that I've had where you glue 2 arms together to hold something have not fit properly. I've had to end up using green stuff to repair them. So it actually makes me really happy that these that these fit correctly. So I don't know if that's because this is a newer kit or the other ones that I've built are older kits. I genuinely don't know, and I really couldn't tell you. So and then for this guy, I chose a different helmet because this was one of the special helmets, and I think his gun is like a flame kind of weapon because it's got a canister on it. So I grabbed that. And then for this guy, this was the Raider Lugger, I think his name was, where he's carrying a ton of stuff on his back, and then he's got another pouch that he's carrying on his other arm. And for his weapon, I chose this I think it's a grenade. It's either a grenade launcher or a shotgun. But I think again, it looks really cool. I really wanted to choose quite all the unique options for all the characters to make all the characters feel very different and interesting and unique. Then for this guy, I picked the big gun. The big one, which is, I'm pretty sure it's a rocket launcher, which again, I always end up going by the rule of cool in art and models and sculpting and all that jazz, and looking at the things that are the coolest and going, yeah, that's what I want. So I glued on the big gun and then the other arm that's holding that gun. Then for this guy, I chose it to be the Grenader. So he's carrying in one of his arms this big, like, I almost want to say belt of grenades that are just attached to his back, and I think are pretty cool. And then for this guy, this is one of the more interesting ones, where he has a jetpack, so I had to glue these little thruster, like, output things onto the backpack, which then this attachment then glues to the regular backpack of the model. And then for this one, again, I thought it would be cool to have the axe, because I have some cool plans for the axe. So I glued that on one arm, and then I glued a gun on the other, to kind of like pointing out. Again, I want to give these guys some decently dynamic poses. Obviously, I can't do crazy dynamic poses with the models unless I convert them like crazy, which I don't have plans to entirely convert them. And then for this guy, I grabbed it's like this unique backpack that has like this thing on the back, and then this robot arm that's not originally meant for that one, but I thought it'd be cool. Now, for the bases. So this is where my idea comes in, where I had an idea that I was originally going to do with Space Marines, but then I saw these guys and I thought, I think I would like to do it with them more. So I wanted to make some like hazmat toxic looking guys that are on like a toxic wasteland that have like yellow and like black masks, kind of look like hazmat suits. So for the bases, I thought to make them standing either just in the toxic sludge or on top of a barrel that's like pouring out more toxic sludge, because my idea was kind of the planet that they're on is infested with this toxic like goo or liquid or whatever. So that's my idea for the guys, and I end up showing this more when I get to the paint job. Then, after using a copious amount of hot glue, I ended up burning myself. In the end, I just put band-aids. I ended up burning my index finger and my thumb, but I just put some band-aids over it, and now it's time for the painting. So I grabbed a black spray and proceeded to prime all of the minis. So with this, I wanted to paint these guys yellow, and I recently have seen on the internet that if you paint pink first, it comes out with a more vibrant yellow. This was a little nerve-wracking to try, because I didn't know if this would work in the end, but the results, it really did end up working. So I painted all of the minis pink. I did paint all of them before I painted yellow, so it was kind of a gamble. But in the end, the gamble turned out well. So here I'm grabbing the yellow that I'm using to layer on top of the pink, which when this dries, the vibrancy, it is so bright and it's perfect for the hazmat color that I needed. Then I grabbed a black to fill in all the black details. So for most of them, I filled in the weapons, their helmets, which are meant to look like hazmat, like helmets with like the black visor, their boots, which I painted a boot color, or black I guess, and also painted the weapon holsters or patches that are on their side, and also I ended up deciding to paint their backpacks because I thought it was a little too much yellow. Then to break up the yellow a little more, I painted all of the shoulder plates orange, and then all the knee pads orange as well. Again, just to break up the orange a little bit, and then I grabbed a lighter orange and layered it on top of the previous orange. And then, to add some more detail to the black, I grabbed a gray and dry brushed it onto all of the black areas of the models. Then I looked at the visors and thought they were a bit bland, so I grabbed my white and added highlights into the helmets. These highlights ended up making them feel quite alive, because before, I don't know how to describe what I mean by this, but it just made them feel so much more alive. And then I also used the white to put onto areas that I wanted to kind of look like they were glowing, because I'm going to put another color on top, so I needed a bright white to put first, like areas like the axe, the missiles, and other bits and bobs on some of the other models, like the grenades and stuff like that. I then proceeded to do the same thing for the bases of the models, because again, I wanted it to be this glowy color. So again, I had to layer a white first over the black, or else the paint, I would have to do like 50 million layers. So the white made it a lot easier. So then this is the green I ended up wedding with. Man, sometimes recording, words are hard. Words are really hard. But I grabbed a green and like a white and multiple other greens and mixed it to make this like toxic kind of looking green. In the end, I was again thinking it didn't really feel like the characters were in their areas or on their bases in a way. So I ended up trying to do some lighting with the green, which I think in the end turns out really well, because I like the more painterly style of it. It's not something I usually do, but I liked it. And then this was like one of the final touches, where on one of the shoulder plates for every one of the guys, I tried to do the toxic symbol, and so far I'm not happy with freehanding with a paintbrush yet, so I just grabbed a black pen to do it instead. After this, I painted up the rims of the bases black, and now I think it's time for the final shots.